What's up, everyone? Welcome back to part, I think it's 7 of building a custom home. In this part, we're going to go over the siding or the outside of the house. You could get brick. We chose siding, so we're going to go over that, the different color options and the different type options. We're going to go over insulation, which will cover the sound deadening insulation and also the temperature controlling insulation. And then we're going to go over HVAC. So let's jump into it. Alright, so the first thing you'll notice if you're looking at the front of the house is the two different types of siding. So we have the white horizontal siding here, and then we have the white board and batten vertical siding here. We chose the board and batten for the front of the house, and this is any sidewall. Now you can get these in a variety of different colors, which you could see on your home builder's website. I used Wayne Homes, so they show all the options there. But these are the two differences in different sidings. You can also get brick. There are a couple other sidings other home builders offer, so make sure you ask about them when going through the process, but when they talk about siding, it is these pieces. Moving on from siding, the next thing we have is trim, and the trim goes around the windows and garage door. Now, I don't have them on the back of the house. You can opt for them on the back of the house or every window, but they come standard on the farmhouse upgrade on the front of the house. So these are the corner caps. You can choose them in a different color. We chose in white to match the siding. I have seen colored siding as well and chosen white end caps or the colored end caps that match your siding. Also not finished here, but additional things, the posts will be black. This is an upgrade option that you can choose whatever you want for the posts. And then the railing, if you do get railing on your porch, you don't have to in most cases, but since we're going to be above a certain height from the grade, we did have to get railing. We chose black for that as well. So this is the soffit, the underside of the roof. It also wraps around. On the porch, we chose white soffit, and around the house, we chose black soffit. So if you have different colors you want in different areas of the house, you can also choose that. Now the piece that wraps around the soffit is called the fascia. We also got that in black, and we chose the gutters in black. So we did completely white and black for the house. They do have a variety of different colors you can mix and match, but this is to highlight the different pieces that you can tweak. You can also go on Wayne Homes' website and play with the editor on there. At the time, there were a couple newer options, such as the brick we got. So everywhere it's painted black is going to be black brick, and that was a newer option, so we weren't able to see it on the site at the time, but we were still able to buy it. So we weren't able to see exactly what the house would look like when it'll be done, but they do have a lot of color options on their site. Moving on to the siding, like I said, we're going to cover two types. We're going to cover the type that keeps your house warm, and then we're going to cover the type we put in to keep your house quiet. So the standard thing Wayne Homes offers is the interior insulation. So the whole inside of your house is insulated. What doesn't come standard are insulated garages. They do let you do this yourself. So that's a project I took on. We're not going to go over how to install insulation. I have a different video of that on my channel in my previous garage, but we are going to point out a couple different things I did here. New construction houses come with 2x6 walls. Since this is a garage, there are 2x4 walls on this side. So the most we could fit was R15, which is fine for a garage because there is no code for it to be insulated, but in the house, it is all R19. So that is for the walls. For the ceiling, we are going to do blown in. Because we're going to do blown in, we needed to put up rafter vents, and this is because there are soffit vents and there's a ridge vent. And to allow that space to breathe, you need airflow, and if you just blow in insulation and cover the soffit vents, you're not going to have airflow. So we put up this. We put some batt insulation. Thanks to a previous comment on the videos, I know to remove the paper now. Now the drywallers will come in and be able to put up the drywall. Now something we did have to add so we could get in afterwards and blow in the insulation is an attic entrance. This costs a little bit extra, but really isn't a huge cost to make sure your garage is insulated so when you heat or cool it, it's not leaking out to the outside. Now, another area of the garage we had to make sure was insulated was right above this part of the garage. There's only a roof here, but it's not high enough that there's an attic entrance or large enough to justify one. So what we did is we put batt insulation, and the difference between ceiling insulation and wall insulation is usually 16 on center, where ceiling is 24 on center. So these are 24 wide, so they friction fit up there, which means you can just press them up there and they'll stay there. Then you can come back with drywall. Now, something to call out is in the ceilings, we talked about R value. You need an R49 value, and that's either somewhere around 30 inches of blown in or 14 inches of this R49 batting. There is not enough room for it all the way at the edge, so I did cut off a little bit to make it fit in there. There's going to be some heat loss out of this section, but I also think if it's bad enough, I can put something along the ceiling and take care of that. So now that we went through every part of the garage insulation, which covers every part of the thermal insulation, the house is done the same way, except for, like I said, it has 2x6 walls, so it's R19. There are no bats like this because the roof is steeper and there's enough room for the blown-in insulation. It does have the baffles, and it does have the pink insulation under the baffles. Now that we went over all this, let's talk about the sound deadening insulation. This is one of the bedrooms upstairs, and this is actually the most important room I wanted to soundproof because there are no rooms surrounding it. To this side is the great room, to this side is the foyer, so there is no bathroom beside it or another bedroom beside it to block the noise. It's just going to be exposed to those rooms where the most activity is going to be. So what I put on the walls is rock wool, it's a mineral wool, and it's far denser than the temperature controlling insulation. For example, again, talked about R value. This, I think, is a 3.5 R value compared to a similar width that would be around R13 R value. For this, you can see every wall is not done, and this is because this is a return vent. Air is going to come in and go back down to the furnace, so we don't have any batting here, but we do have batting everywhere else. We also have it under the floors. So from the living room, the underside of the ceiling has this surrounding it as well. This isn't going to be soundproof by any means. This is just meant to cut down on the noise going into this room because it has no other rooms. So since the walls are off, I wanted to give it a shot. If you guys want to know how it goes, hit that subscribe button and I'll do a video once we finally move in. Talking about return vents, let's talk about the HVAC. There's not much to discuss here. The only thing I would bring up is this is a single zone, which means there's one thermostat in the house and it controls the whole house. You can opt for a dual zone furnace, which means there'd be two thermostats you set in different sections of the house. For example, a second floor versus a first floor. That way, since heat rises, you can make sure they're both set how you want them and not just setting the living room temperature and having to deal with it in other places of the house. So one way you could deal with a single zone furnace is to get automated flaps that open and close depending on where you want it to be hotter or colder. I haven't done much research on these. I need to do more before I actually decide if we're going to go with any, but it does sound like an interesting solution to the problem as long as it doesn't damage the furnace. Now, one thing I want to call out about what Wayne Homes did, and maybe everybody does this, but I thought this was really cool, is they label the ducts going to the first and second floor and basement so that once all the drywall is up upstairs, you can still see where everything is going. So I think that covers everything from insulation, sidewall, HVAC. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Next video should be after all the drywall's hung. See you for that one.